Give us a blessing, please.
Yes, please stand. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the rain you've sent that's helped all the ranchers and farmers filling our ponds. We're very grateful. Thank you for our health, and thank you for everyone here today. I ask that you guide our thoughts and our words and our actions, that they be pleasing to you and the Cherokee people we serve. Amen.
Shelley, do us the honors.
Sir, David Luckenstick,
Honey.
John Garvin, Jack Baker,
Here.
Harley Bezer, Joe Bird, Juliette Coates,
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk, Janelle Fulbright, Frankie Hargis,
Present.
Hannah Glory Jordan,
Present.
Lee Keener, Dave Way,
Here.
Curtis Snell,
Here.
Denise Taylor, David Thornton,
Present.
Victoria Vesquez,
Ani.
Carrie Callan Watts.
Ani.
We do have a quorum.
Thanks, Shelley. I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of the minutes from May 12th, 2014.
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Down to reports. Ms. Diane Kelly,
Thank you.
are you
Chair.
ready to?
We have had a very exciting month. This is always probably one of our busiest months because summer youth starts and we start winding down day work for a few weeks to get our paperwork in place. Day work started back the end of May, and we are placing people, getting jobs for people, thanks to our HR department. And we're also, we've got, I think, 560 something, I think was the number that we got on summer youth. I want to say that the northern counties really came through this year, and we're very pleased with the help that we got from you council ladies in getting the word out, because I know you all helped us get the word out, and we appreciate it. Talking Leaves Job Corps finished their first phase of their annual review. We're in our 5-year contract for the Job Corps Center, and they're doing it a little different. They have a new national director who's in an acting status, and they're coming out visiting the centers in the spring, and they will actually give us our numbers in the fall. We have a new project officer, so there's a lot of movement going on within the Department of Labor, a lot of new players. So we're not really sure how things are going to play out, but they've got a lot of people acting. Ramona Holt and Jan Rucker to be commended. They passed with flying colors for the state school certification. The state superintendent of schools had them come out and do the review of our high school academy. And Ramona and Jan wooed them, and they gave us really good points, high points, probably higher than the other 3 centers in the state of Oklahoma. And I commend both those 2 ladies for the work that they did on our state certification for our high school diploma program over at Job Corps. I don't know where that ranks out as far as report cards, but they told us that those ladies knew what they were doing and they did an outstanding job. So if you see Ramona or Jan Rucker, pat them on the back, 'cause they did a really good job. Our GED graduation will be sometime in August or September. Our halls have been full of candidates for our GED testing program. We've had the Thunderbird Academy here for the last 3 weeks in a row, and they're trying to get everybody certified through our GED testing site. We don't have the one in Pryor up and running yet, but they've been coming down here to Tahlequah, and my understanding is the one in Stillwell, they're bombarding it as well. We don't know how the GED testing is going to play out. A lot of the teacher certification people are coming in, and my understanding is the GED on the computer is a little harder for people to adapt to, and we're not so sure how many of them are really going to pass this year. So we'll just play it and let everybody know. We just haven't had that many people coming in because a lot of them are scared of the computers. If it was on paper and then we could incorporate that in on the computer, they may take it. But it's in phases, so they can come in and take one phase at a time. Our day training started back, as I said. Nason Morton's done an outstanding job in working with us to get those people through the pipeline for those that were there 61 days or longer, so that they can be counted as in that pipeline for the first panel that goes out if they meet the quals for jobs, and we appreciate that. We are doing culinary classes at Indian Capital Technology. They'll graduate this Friday. We have a new class starting at the Pryor Votech next week. We also have business classes that will be starting in the fall. We met with Bob Thomas and Vivian Phillips. We'll be doing a job fair in South Coffeyville. I would like to thank Councilman Lay for his work in getting me some contacts up there. We'll be doing the job fair there in South Coffeyville, and then we'll be doing one in Bartlesville, because there's some of those employees that live at Ramona that may want to go over and work at the facility in South Coffeyville. We traveled to Salisaw last Friday, met with the Drumright trucking program. It's the premier trucking in the state of Oklahoma for all the VOTECs. And they're looking at one of the sites at Indian Capital Technology because of it being on the interstate and Arkansas being kind of the mega for trucking. They're wanting to locate the truck driver training program, which would be an extension of Drumright, which is a lot cheaper than your independent truck driver training programs. And they are looking at Salisaw and Muskogee because of them being located on the interstate. We went down to Blue Ribbon Downs, not Will Rogers Downs, David. I messed up when I told you Will Rogers. They went down to Blue Ribbon Downs to look at the site down there to see if it was compatible for a truck driver training program. They were very impressed. They were impressed with the inside of the facility as well. Mark Fulton and Gary Waddell and Chad also came out, and they had their maintenance guys there. And as a result of us all showing up there Friday, we sent them 6 day workers this morning to help get the place cleaned up. And hopefully maybe we'll get something going down there as far as training. One of the things that Mark and Gary told us was that we're going to need culinary workers, we're going to need housekeeping for the new facility that's going in at Roland. So we're hoping that the VOTEC will work with us to do that site as a possible training site for the culinary and also the day housekeeping. So we're working on it. We don't know what's going to happen and whether or not we'll get an opportunity to do it, but we're working on it. We've got a lot of things going on tonight. You're going to, the chief will introduce you to what we're doing as far as our website. We'll have a display up there tonight. We've got refreshments at the council meeting. And I know that some of you all, Councilman Walkingstick, Councilwoman Watts, you all ask about meeting with our interns. They're only here for 2 weeks. Some of them drive in from different locations, and we decided to have a reception for them at 5 o'clock today. We will have some light refreshments in the Tribal Services conference room, and all the interns will be there for you to get an opportunity to meet with them and visit with them prior to the council meeting. So there'll be light refreshments there, and then we'll have refreshments at 6 o'clock on our website. And the last thing I want to tell you about, I know I told you all about fiber optics and what the electric companies were doing. We traveled back to Veneta. REC in Veneta is the largest REC as far as what they're doing as far as their fiber optics. We got to look at their operation last week. We were up there. They got a grant that they applied for back about a year or so ago. They were invited by the, I guess the telecommunications. They're going to Washington to meet with them. They're looking at them as being a hub for that part of the country because you've got Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas that border where they're at. They are going to be hiring 45 to 60 jobs that will be on fiber optics, and I've got information on it. Back behind it is their groundbreaking. There's the map that shows what they're going to be doing. We were thoroughly impressed because the site where they're going to put their servers is 11 inches thick. It's as thick as what the Gatorade building was. They've got an operation up there that if you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to go look at it. It is nice. They're going to have a ribbon cutting open house here in the next several weeks. They want the chief to come up and be a part of that. We're going to be working with them on specialized training in the Northeast area of VOTEC, and we're also going to be helping to do job fair for them and help to do recruitment. The jobs will pay somewhere between $19 to $35 an hour, depending on what positions there is. So I've got information here. I want to share it with you because this is a grand thing if we can get in on it, and they're very receptive to having us work with it. And I want to thank Chuck Hoskin, our chief of staff, because about a year and a half ago, he was the one who asked us to go up and meet with them when they were actually on the ground floor applying for this, and they have made big progress. I mean, I was just thoroughly impressed. I visited all the other electric companies in the area, but you need to go up and see what they got going on up there. I know that you could probably add to that, Victoria.
I just wanted to say, yay, Veneta, my hometown. And anything I can do to help you with any of those activities, you let me know. I'll be happy to be a part of any of it.
My staff were thoroughly impressed, and I've got one staff member that's married to one of the guys that works up there, so it worked out good for us. She got us in the door.
Did you get to eat at Clanton's?
We ate at Shout and Sack.
That's
They had hot rolls about that big. I was really impressed.
You know who that is? That's our tax commissioner, Chris Carter owns
No,
it.
no, but-
Excellent food.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Any questions? Oh, and Councilwoman Hargis, I did send an email to my staff because there is somebody working on that. There was another meeting that went on this afternoon, and I couldn't get the information, but I'll send it out as soon as I get it.
Okay. One other request, will you bring some jobs to Adair County?
To Adair County. Well, if you were on an interstate, I probably could.
We have a major highway, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you got a major highway. Wait till that 4-lane goes in. We're working on it. But you do have shirts that we're giving out. Our summer youth shirts are kind of a turquoise green, and we got polo shirts for you all on the staff. And Job Corps paid for half of it so they can get in on the ground floor. Because we need recruits. We need females for Job Corps, so help us recruit.
We were short on these, can you send some more?
Yes, I can. I sure can.
Yes.
I got a few right here. There you go.
Speaker Jordan.
Out on you. Sorry.
Diane, as usual, thank you for a good report.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It sounds like you're doing a lot of things.
We are. We're trying to get jobs for people.
Amen. Good job, Diane. All right, next, Executive Director's Report, Bill Endo and Dr. Sly. Bill, did you survive camp?
Still surviving. Camp.
Still surviving?
Still surviving. We're week 4 out of 6.
Now Harvey Hills is next week, right? Or
Third week of July.
third week of July. It's way
A
off.
little bit of break.
I was way off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have anything to report about? Anything? Hey, Speaker, Jordan?
I would like for you, if you would, Bill or Gloria, would you go over one more time the policy for the doctoral program? And then I want to ask the council if they want to continue on with the resolution tonight. This is something they may want to think about, or if we just go with the policy that you've already put in place, which actually mirrors what we were going to do.
Right. We did bring Ms. Scott with us, with the policy, if you'd like to look at it, Ms. Scott.
Well, I might, while she's coming up.
Sure.
What has happened is they have developed policy consistent with our work on the doctoral program and continuing funding for students that want to continue on and get a doctorate. And as you all will remember, that is on the agenda tonight, and it would appear to me, and just something for you all to think about, that we probably don't need to pass that because they've already, in our work with them, they've already passed the policy that will do the very thing that we've asked them to do. So I didn't know if we wanted to continue forward with that and make a law where we probably don't need a law at this point. And if Ms. Scott would go over those policies, I think probably that might be one that we don't need to do tonight.
Just, do you want me to go over just?
Yeah, if you just hit the highlights of it, basically what we had talked
Okay.
about in all of our committee meetings.
It's basically just affecting, it's on the first page, the graduate scholarship. It's now changing to, the 8 semesters, just like the undergrad. And then, with only an extension of 2 additional semesters if they're in optometry, since that's a longer degree. But that's basically all we've really talked about. The changes was extending it to the 8 semesters.
And let me make sure, some areas won't need 8 semesters. Like law will only need, on an average, 6 semesters.
Yes.
But if you're going for, like you say, in the eye doctor field, you'll need the 10 semesters, which would, you could do the 2-semester extension there if you were in good standing with the university.
Yes.
And then most of them will be caught by the 8-hour,
Yes.
the 8-semester limitation will catch just about all of the doctoral students if they're going through on a regular basis to graduate.
Yeah, they were previously they were timing out of our funding, and they were basically running out of money on our end. So yeah, this does extend funding. We've done the research. It should catch, as you said, nearly all students.
Is there any difference, Bill, in what we proposed to go through council tonight that's not in this policy? There's not really a difference that we can see.
It's actually a very basic change to make the graduate funding cycle the same as the undergraduate funding cycle.
Okay.
And so we have the set number of semesters as being 8, with an exemption with 2 additional semesters by approval.
And I think I was the sponsor tonight, was I not?
You was speaker.
So I may, if anyone here doesn't see a problem, I might ask that be taken off the agenda, whatever procedure we've got to do to make that happen. Because I really don't see passing something when it's taken care of already. So, thank you all. We worked good on this, and I think this is a good thing. We don't have a whole lot of people that are looking to go for doctorates at the present time, but this gives them the avenue to do it if they want to continue on.
Great.
Any other questions? Councilman Lee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make sure again that if funding starts falling off, that you're going to fund the bachelor's programs at 100% level, and the money will come off of the upper graduate programs. Is that correct? Is that what the policy says?
It does not state that in there.
Now, I wish I could make that guarantee, but we simply cannot. I mean,
Well, that was part of the legislation.
Is that really, that's a decision that we usually make here.
Right.
If
When we get
funding
to
is
that.
short, then they usually ask us, where do you want to make the cuts at? Or at least that's what you've always done before.
So they'll come to us if the money gets short.
Well, yeah, if the money's short, they're going to be coming to us.
The last 2 years, yes, you've been very helpful over the last couple of years, helping us fund students who apply for scholarships.
Because I think we have the last 2 years,
Yes.
gave you a supplemental, haven't we?
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
And in the supplemental, we discuss how far it's going to go, and we've always said bachelors had to go first.
Now, in order to address part of your concern, we did push up this year the graduating seniors, freshmen scholarship applications up. So we were able to at least get those kids coming out of high school in the system earlier than ever before. So that helps us kind of gauge our numbers and where we're going to be.
What I hope I won't see is a bachelor student be rejected and a PhD student, all the PhD students get funded.
Yeah, we're all on the same page on that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Mandy, you did a great job on that concurrent enrollment legislation too, by the way, of pointing that out to us, and we're able to give kids more hours too, instead of 6 to 9, so great job on that. And And you're really good at speaking in public as well. Just want to let you know that. Okay.
Appreciate you guys asking me to come up here.
Is any other questions? All right.
Yeah, one
Yes,
real quick.
Speaker Jordan.
Now more kids from my area are applying for the scholarships. So I hope you'll continue going out to the schools, and even though it's hard to get into some of the schools, please call them 2, 3, 4, 5 times, because we don't want someone that doesn't want to deal with the scholarships hurting the kids.
Exactly.
The kids are the ones that we've got to get to. But we, at graduation this year, at least one graduation I went to, I always ask them, raise your hand, whoever's applied for our scholarship. And there's been years that nobody had applied. This year, I think we got a good majority of the Cherokee students in that graduating class. And I felt real good when I walked away, because that's my standard question, and they know it's coming. And they were right there ready to get their hands up, and a couple of them told me afterwards, said, well, we're not done yet, but I'll be done before deadline. So the word's getting around that we have a scholarship there for these kids. And all they gotta do is get online, do a couple of things, and that scholarship is coming to them. It's not based on their income, it's not based on their grade point. If you can get in college, we've got a scholarship for you. And I think that is one of the best things that this tribe is offering, is we will educate you if you will meet us halfway.
That's true. Number one question, is it income based?
It's really, in fact, I had several calls of people wanting to know, well, how can we get in on it, but they weren't Cherokee. I said, well, unfortunately, you gotta be Cherokee on this deal.
Council Lady Fulbright.
Yes, I want to commend Dr. Morton for something that he made happen last year. He announced that we were going to change the way we're doing things and speed up the process so that at the end of the year assemblies and award receptions and dinners and banquets, that the scholarships would already be awarded and we would have this great publicity. So it worked out great for Sequoyah County. I went to Muldrow and handed out about 20 at their banquet. They had a reception at Roland at night with 17 or 18. I attended the awards assembly at Sallisaw and gave out 20. And that's the first time we've been able to do that, to give them a certificate in hand and say, you have been awarded your Cherokee Nation scholarship. And that just goes like wildfire to help everybody else get interested, and it worked out really great. And I think that was a big improvement in the system, to be able to let them know way ahead of time, you know, that you've received your scholarship. So I can't say enough good things about Dr. Morton. He's just
We'll be more prepared for
solid.
that next year, to have those ready and available. I think we were just
It worked
worried
out.
about getting them funded and awarded, and didn't think about the certificates that you guys can take out.
Great job.
Chief Byrd.
I'm going to yield to Dr. Morton. I think he's got something to say.
I too would like to congratulate the staff for the work that they've done. I can remember the days of dreading the period when we accepted applications for scholarships. And we didn't get through until after schools were in session. And now, hey, the Monday morning after the 6th deadline, people could work on processing and so forth. Now, there is one thing that I'd like to caution both the staff and you as a council on. I think the movement toward the PhD is, like Simon says, take 3 big leaps forward, because this is going to be something that is fantastic for Native American students. You know, to be able to obtain that doctorate. But remember that doctorates have changed a great deal. You can apply for a doctorate back from the back page of a comic book now. So watch the quality of the school. I received a letter last week from University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond, they are acting as the agent for a PhD. Now, they're not authorized by the state regents for higher education to offer PhD, but they're acting as the agent for a company in Wales that offers the PhD. Only difference between it and a PhD at Arkansas or Oklahoma or OSU, it costs a great deal more, but it doesn't require a dissertation. Doesn't require a dissertation, and it's all online. So it's simply buying a PhD. Also, they are targeting a particular market group, that is Americans. They have one student that's almost finished the program with an essay on how the Chickasaw Nation has been able to leap forward into this century in both social services, education services, economic services. That's his essay. Well, Cherokee Nation, we'd write that for him if it were Cherokee Nation. So I'm sure that that essay would not require a great deal of research. So make sure that there is PhDs that the recipient can use and PhDs that you will be proud of too. But again, it is a fantastic move forward, and I congratulate you for it.
Have we covered that here?
You covered it under accreditation.
Okay.
But accreditation, again, doesn't mean what it used to.
As we get into this area and we see a need, I want you all to come back and make us
Staff
aware.
can
if we
watch
need
that
to,
and,
maybe the definition of accreditation.
and watch those and make a judgment call that can be brought to you. Because the fact that a person can obtain the degree, that's quite frankly not as worth as much as some others, should not keep us from moving forward with PhD growth.
And if I may continue, honestly, that is the reason why I didn't want to legislate it. Because by not legislating it, we had the flexibility to change a policy quicker than if it was a legislative thing. And if we need to respond, because I don't think anybody on this body was intending that you, if you pay enough money, you can get your doctorate.
Oh, no, no.
I mean, just by going online and if you're willing to pay enough money, you get a doctorate. I don't think any of us were intending that. We're intending them to do go through an accredited program and genuinely receive through the educational process what they need, the ability then to move on into what we hope will be a lifelong endeavor for them. I hope it will give them a better job.
Yes.
Or at least the ability to try for a better job.
And, you know, the same holds true with baccalaureate degrees too. And we've been able to winnow those out, so we will be able to do this too. But there will be some instances where it would be better to counsel the student into perhaps a more rigorous program or a program that would be more apt to benefit both you and the It's a fantastic step forward.
Thank you, Dr. Morton. Any other questions?
Good job, guys.
Yep, appreciate you guys. Oh, wait. Council.
I just have a quick request of Dr. Sly. Last time we met, we had talked about the resolution that's coming forward tonight for council about authorizing a submission for tribal historic preservation office status. And Gloria wasn't here when we talked about it, and I remember Councilor Watts had a couple of questions about that. just wanting a little more explanation about what this means, and if you could shed some light on it, please.
Okay. The application that I was, and the resolution, is requesting us to be designated, the tribe is having a tribal historic preservation office, and so that we might assume some of the state historic preservation office duties. And that's what that's all about. The reason I asked for it under the deadline is that those tribes who submitted it by May 31st would be eligible for funding come October 1 in the next year. But if we had not gotten it approved by, or submitted by then it wouldn't be. I've talked to the DC office of the Tribal Historic Preservation Programs officer, and he was, I sent the copy of the resolution that was approved in rules or executive finance last month, and then he said he would wait for that, the one from tonight, and then give us his official approval or disapproval on it, so. But it does just allow us to be eligible for funding, get designated.
Thank you.
All right, good job, guys. All right, next from Head Start, we got Miss Verna Thompson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, Dr. Sly?
I forgot to mention that our bicycle riders
Yeah.
remember the removal.
Yes.
I know all of you received invitations, but I just wanted to remind you, this Thursday afternoon, 2 o'clock, at the courthouse where they will be returning home, and there will be ceremony. So, just wanted to remind you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sly. Thursday at 2. All right, Miss Verna.
I'm here to answer any questions you might have from my written report, but before that, I'd like to just inform you all and kind of reemphasize what I wrote in my monthly report, is that we received 100% from our review for the 5th consecutive time every 3 years, so we're really, really thankful. I'd like to say thank you to you all, because I know other grantees don't enjoy the support from all of their tribal council, and I can say without a doubt to our reviewers and any visitor that comes, where Head Start stands in our tribe, and our children and families come first in our minds, and we thank you all for your support. I would also like to echo what Diane Kelly said about HR. We are receiving new staff in record time. Recently, one applicant took a month to hire on, and I think Speaker Jordan probably has a lot to do with that, because it's been a discussion in our policy council meetings quite often, the number of vacancies, and we have a record low in the number of vacancies, and I attribute that to Nathan Morton's leadership, and Alana and Brenda working so closely with us, and all of the folks that work with them in the HR department. So it's really a good day to hire new folks and get them on board, and we hire the best. They go through a rigorous background check, and it's hard to expedite that, but they seem to find a way, and we're very, very thankful for it. So with that, I will entertain.
Verna, hopefully you guys can spearhead that HR to other departments and to speed that process up.
Well, I understand that our process is more rigorous than others, because we have the fingerprinting step and all
Background
of that.
checks,
So
yeah.
I think it takes, I was under the impression that it took less time in other departments. But yes, but they're doing very well.
All right, that's a good report, Verna. Appreciate you. Keep up the great work.
I'll convey that to everybody. They did
Okay.
an outstanding job.
Yeah. All right. Have a good.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Qualls, the Sequoia High School's not here. I think they're at a character conference. And number 6, cultural tourism, Miss Molly Jarvis.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. This is our quarterly report to the committee. I think we have the report that was submitted, and I have a couple of highlights that I will talk about from the report. As we state there on the Capitol building, we have completed masonry testing on the Capitol, and will submit some formal bids for the work that needs to be done, and that includes a lot of masonry work and then resealing the brick that's there. And we are going to get formal bids and then bring those numbers back and report those to our board of directors to get formal approval from that. So we'll have a more solid number for you in about a month, but expect that work to begin after the Cherokee National holiday, so not before that. And then on the gazebo there, kind of the opposite, we expect that work to be completed prior to the Cherokee National holiday, and we will have a brand new, much larger gazebo on Capitol Square that will be kind of a multi-use facility, and really give us a lot more options to use it almost as a building or venue there.
ADA.
Yes, ADA compliant, yes. Our promotions, we are offering tours as usual, and currently selling the Compass package. This is a self-guided tour that allows you admission into our 3 museums and the Cherokee Heritage Center, and we currently sell about 50 to 80 of those a month. And then we have seasonal promotions, like we just had our Father's Day promotion over the weekend, where fathers received free admission into all of our museums. And we keep those ongoing just as holidays come around or with the season changes. The Cherokee National Prison won an award from the Oklahoma Tourism Industry Association at the Redbud Awards. We won a Merit Award for the Best New Attraction in 2014. And then the Cherokee National Capitol was awarded Best Rural in the Private Sector Division from Preservation Oklahoma. So just a couple of awards won recently. Thank you, thank you. We continue to work with CCO to provide free community tours for all of our Cherokee Nation communities. And I have some flyers that I can make available to you, and I can leave them on the back table, but that you can take back to your communities. And we can email this to you so you have it electronically as well. We like to do tours of 10 or more people, but they are always free to our Cherokee communities. And so we'd love to have those tour groups coming through the museums. We currently have two tours booked right now, and we've done a few in the past, but we'd like to have a whole lot more come through. We hosted about 1,600 students through our education tours during the spring, and then for fiscal year 14, we have 13 group tours booked, and those are more the paying tours like bank travel groups. We continue to work with the committee that's been appointed on the 175th Trail of Tears commemorative events. So upcoming, our June event is just around the Remember the Removal Riders that Dr. Sly just mentioned, their return home. We will tie in with that event and have some mention there. And then in July, we are working on an event that we hope to designate a site as a historical landmark, but we'll send you save the date information about that soon. And then we hope to have an August event at Gilcrease, and then of course wrap up with our Cherokee National Holiday. On the retail side, we have a Remember the Removal Rider t-shirt that we are selling. It is one of our top selling items in the gift shop right now. I think we've sold about close to 300. And what is happening is the riders requested, and this is a great idea, that they have this little business card size card that they are handing out as they ride along their 950-mile journey. And anyone who's interested in getting one of these t-shirts that tells them how to do it, going online to our online gift shop, and then all of the proceeds from the sale of this shirt are going to support the riders. So if anyone needs a shirt, yeah, they're passing those out along their bike ride. And then the Tahquah gift shop was voted by the Tahquah Daily Press as the best shopping location. So we were proud of that, and congratulations to Cheryl Trask and her team. I think that's some of the highlights from the report, if anyone has any questions for me.
Molly, the baked meals there in Flint, so the cost to remodel that is roughly $2.5–3 million.
That is a cost, a rough, very rough cost we have put together some time ago. That site has been in our capital plan for a number of years, and that number is kind of a full-scale dream of totally remodeling and rebuilding the site and making it a working mill. And you've probably seen or been to one of these. I know we visited one in Arkansas. There's one in Pigeon Forge where it's an actual working mill that's grinding its own flour and also serving as a restaurant to serve people. So that's kind of the grand dream.
So is that something that, I'm not really sure on preservation and whatnot, but is that something you just demolish and use the wood, or do you restore what's there?
You would, a lot of what is there has been cataloged and is warehoused in a barn on the site, but then the turbine for the mill is actually still in the ground. So we need a lot of work and input from archaeologists and preservationists of what to do with that, and if it can be removed or whether it's best to be left sealed in the earth and work around it. But there is preservation work that can be done there without going full scale to that $2.5 million plan of making it a full working restaurant.
So that's not the original mill where all the history took place. Because that had got washed away in some flood or something, and then they rebuilt it. When I was researching a little bit on it, and what's the guy's name that shot the lady over there?
Zeke Proctor.
Proctor. Yeah, Zeke Proctor shot Polly over there.
Yeah.
That's where all the history went down. It's an interesting story.
Yes. Yeah, so I think we have a small group. Bruce Davis and a couple others are planned to go out and look at the site with us. And Travis is the expert on our side, and can probably answer questions better than I can, more in depth. But Mr. Davis and a small group of us are planning to go out to look at the site and explain to him what's there, and then just look at possibilities. Probably, with this much we could do this, a couple different scenarios of what could be done.
Sounds good. Is there any questions for Ms. Jarvis? Yes, Councilman Bowden.
Just, Molly, want to ask and maybe remind you that keep on your radar screen of the Bull Hall office there in the Bull Hall community. Are you familiar with that at all?
Yes, whereas Councilor Snell and I visited there. We have also put together some numbers there, and I had talked with Jody Reese and with Doug Evans about, possibilities for that site. It was our West Siloam Springs facilities crew that went with us to look at the site. It's been over a year now. Has it been 2 years?
2 years ago.
Yeah, about 2 years ago. And so they gave us some rough numbers. I don't have it, that wasn't a planned site for me, and don't have a budget for that, and never was really given a go-ahead to do something there. I know I provided some grant information back to Councilor Snell, and I think to Mr. Reese also.
Well, there's just, I think there's just a lot of opportunities for cultural tourism to even increase on what we're doing now. We've got so many acres of land up there, got that old building. I've got some old picnic tables that were used back when the WPA days were going, on the dollars there. With my vision years ago, we had creeks and streams down there, to dam those up, make trout farms, build some cabins in there, use those as culture and tourism aspects of income. But, I know that takes time to do, but I just want to make sure that those places are on the radar screen at least to take a look at. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilmember Snell.
I was just, when I asked Molly, where was she at on the money side?
I feel like I've kind of exhausted where I can go. I'm not quite sure. I've gone to Doug Evans, and like I said, I've sent all the information to Mr. Reese, and probably just need to revisit with them and get some further direction as to what's available or how we should proceed.
Yeah, I think there's new funds come up every year. We're gonna kind of keep an eye on it. But we'll visit with Doug Evans.
Yes, I will.
All right, thank you.
Chief Byrd.
Molly, commend the staff at Cherokee Nation Gift Shop for doing a great job. I'm there about every other Sunday after Edith Restaurant. And I want to thank you for expediting the project of the gazebo.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a nice thing for everybody. It's going to be bigger and better. Handicap, elderly accessibility, that's going to be nice. Also, your tourism, the way you coordinated that, I've been hearing on the radio and word of mouth, people from guests throughout, the way you've done it with the different chambers and commerce departments out there. You're doing a really good job with you and your staff there. I'd like to get with you sometimes and start looking at the next step on what we need out there at the Heritage Center. We truly need to do an assessment, and I've got some information. I've done the data. I've had an architect group look at the feasibility of rebuilding or building a new one of the amphitheater out there. Trail of Tears, drama, very, very needed. I'm getting ready to take a trip there and visit the Chickasaw Nation. I hate that. I mean, those guys are really out there ahead of the pack of what they're doing out there as far as culture and tourism. And we're doing okay, but as the largest tribe in the United States, I don't know if okay is good enough. You can be okay and come in second, like the Miami Heat. I think we want to be number one. And but I'd like to get with you, start looking at some numbers and some data and some planning, and get with Bruce Davis, some of the staff, and look at what we need to do about this project we're talking about out there at the Heritage Center. It's really needed, and we all know when Labor Day comes, the heating in there is just not going to handle that museum. The restrooms are not compatible with the crowds that we handle out there. We're going to face it again, year after year, until we actually put our money up where our heritage and culture is. And we haven't done that yet. We've got nice casinos, we've got all these resorts, but we've got to hold on to our heritage and our language, our way of life. That's what the Cherokee Nation's all about.
We would love to do that. We have pretty limited resources right now, so
Yes.
we would like to increase that.
We'll just get our priorities straight, so all we do.
We'll have to bring Dr. Teehee into that discussion as well.
Yes. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chief. Any other questions for Mr. Darvis? Seeing none. Molly, good report.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Old business, none pending. New business, none. Announcements, next meeting's Monday, July 14th, 3 p.m. Oh, yes,
I have an
Councilor
announcement.
Vasquez.
Yes, I have an announcement. Just formed a new work group for art and culture and language, and we met this morning. And one of the first items of business that I wanted to bring forth to the council is that Jane Austin and I are willing to teach a pottery class, a 4-hour class for council and staff. And we would like to do that on the Friday after our next meetings at the end of July. So that would be July 25th. I will have Gail send out an email to everyone, and you can let us know your interest. It would include making a pot. It would be fired later. And I talked with the speaker, and there will be money to pay her. I will not receive any money for helping teach it. I just want to do it for fun. So just wanted to announce that.
I'd like to make a request while we're doing party that we listen to Unchained Melody.
No, absolutely not. It's a young lady thing.
I'm just kidding. I never watched Ghost before.
We don't
Yeah.
we need a class. We don't use a wheel.
Okay.
And Patrick Swayze's dead. And that's a no-neg movie. Thank you.
Yes, Councilman Buzzer.
Did you say council members and family or council?
Staff, counselors and staff. And typically we can teach, we'd like to keep it to 15 people or less, but we figure that the interest level at most will be like 6. We'll hold it if we have 6 people there.
That's good.
I just wanted to point out too, that other departments in our nation, the CNB and government relations and different departments are doing this with their staff. We're sending them to these cultural classes. And Jane and I taught a class for Oklahoma Leadership Conference, and it got the most feedback of any activity that they did while they were here at NSU. Was that in April, Lee? The leadership Oklahoma thing? So it's a fun thing to do. It gives you an idea of what is involved in being a potter artist, and we also impart a little bit of cultural
Yeah,
history.
my cousin Karen, she went to Jane Elsie's class, and man, she took off, and
She's mentoring her, and she's doing excellent.
yeah, she's won a competition here a while back, and so anyways, we'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. All right.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. He says.
Seven.
Said 7. 7 minutes. Holy number.